everyone. A very warm welcome to the center stage interview of Global Thought Leaders by Boardshire, an initiative by RightSource Global. Global Thought Leaders is a podium for leaders like you to exchange your ideas, experiences, and thoughts. I am your host, Dr. Madhulika Ketadi, and today we have with us Ms. Shweta Satpathy. Ms. Shweta Satpathy has demonstrated through time that she is an outstanding leader and consultant in the field of marketing, sales, and brand management in both retail and real estate sectors. Her career spanning about 22 years, during which she took up diverse roles starting from marketing manager to group head across large corporates to boutique luxury firms. Her experience spans a wide range of industries, including banking, hospitality, media, retail, and real estate. She is focused on strategy and mission planning with command of profit center management. Currently, Shweta Satpathy is an independent consultant working across Pan India. To her credit, she has advised and assisted in creating 2 venture companies and helped set up 3 startups. She has displayed that she has a strong financial understanding for leading growth, new businesses, and aggressive marketing. She remains an enterprising leader with a vision and a precise understanding of the market. Hey, hello, Shweta. Welcome to your center stage interview. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing very well. Quite excited, actually.
All right. Nice to have you here. Let's move on to your first questions. I've
Sure.
gone through your profile and you come from a design background. You've done,
Yeah.
Sales, marketing. So if you can just describe through your journey, that'll be great.
I think those days when we graduated, and I'm talking 98, I'm a NIFT alumni. Very excitedly, I told all my teachers that I passed this certification. They were very happy. I'll tell you for 2 reasons. At that point, the design education was purely design. Very recently, they've started in building business wherewithal. I think that was absolutely essential because though I did my expertise in design, I stayed in marketing side of design, which was retail in those days. There was not a very big market for design in those days. But I always thought at some point you need to have business wherewithal, the commerce bit of it, the profitable bit of it, more importantly, the governance of it, which I think you couldn't really get very well unless you did a full-time MBA, which I didn't have the time for, so I had to do it remote. And then everybody gets busy with work, trying to make money. And the little time I had, thanks to COVID, I thought I will go in for the certification. And I think it was one of the best decisions of my life. Your viewpoint changed, so I'm happy. So that's the story from then to now. Marketing is one of the few verticals which works with every department in any company. It has to look at the sales, the corporate, the profitability, the launches. That being my DNA, marketing in retail for luxury for so long, this was a bit of a bird's eye view validation for me. So I'm quite happy with it.
So we see that you have the sales and marketing background too, and you have one talk show yourself. I've seen that. And with the rise of, social media influencers, how do you approach influencer marketing as a part of your overall strategy?
Okay, so let me make it in 2 parts. Pure influencing is being able to influence people on their decision making for sales or that vacation or the next product they want to buy or invest. Influence marketing, I think, has yet to come. Influencer marketing has yet to come into its big time in India in terms of understanding what it is. My talk show was really out of passion. I love a good story. I love the underdog. I like history. It had really nothing to do with a strategy. I just started because, like I said, post-COVID, I had time to do things for me, upskill myself or do something I liked. However, the more I do it, I'm beginning to understand there could be some kind of a helpful situation in both the ways, because at the end of the day, as a certified independent director, you're also marketing yourself. The only thing I have not done is commented on that vertical expertise. I'm yet to do so because all this was shot last year. Yes, it coexists. I don't know if it is commercially sound for each other. The more I sit in this education in my mindset, it literally opened my mind space of so many things that can happen. Like you can create so much value talking about boardroom drama on screen, which I haven't been there, talking about board issues. I mean, there are a lot of issues which are both interpersonal and directed with the companies or with the profit or with the governance. So I am hoping I use it for that more than an internal strategy. That's the idea.
Got it. And you've been part of startups, you've helped
Yeah.
multiple ventures through their journey, right? And now you're also a certified independent director. Say,
Yes.
for example, you're an independent director because you come from a fashion and design background. Say you're an independent director on a fashion brand, right? What new can you bring to the board? If you can just talk through how would you take that journey?
That's a loaded question because the fashion industry is a fairly sentimental industry, if you know what I mean. A lot of the designers' expectation, the design, the creative, it's a creative force, and trying to bring the creative force to a very pragmatic business structuring is tough. I witnessed it in my post-NIF days. A lot of us were prolific in our design and marketing, styling, but how to relate to commerce is a problem. I am unsure right now how an independent director per se for a for an unestablished fashion company would work, but for an established one, I think I'm assuming it will throw a hot light on BRSR, uh, business responsibility, which was really not a very big part of the fashion industry till about a decade ago. The sustainability reporting wasn't the big part, but now it's a big part. Obviously, human conditions of working, you hear all kind of stories. I'm hoping the independent director kind of helps bring a semblance of balance to both, because end of the day, it's a profitable institute. This is not an NGO. It has to create profit. It has to create wealth. The company has to create great designs which sell, but also kind of take care of the social responsibility. And I think that would be a good place to start. I think otherwise the industry is fairly arrived in India, which really split into various. One is the small independent, medium, small enterprises, the ones which are couture houses, the ones which are big brands with multiple offerings to the design industry, and the one would be the exports. So back in the 1980s, India as an export hub used to be hot, for your home decor, clothes, apparel. Everybody was an exports. The new wealth made in India around 70s and 80s was all exports. But there's a huge Indian market that the imploding market inside Hamara Khud Ka in India, that has to be tackled. And here we are free of here we are free of external governance policy for BRSR. I think that is what might need more help to create for a more hyper-local way of doing things. And of course, being an independent director, of course, you sit on the good governance, good practice, compliance, checklist viewpoint. So maybe that could be helpful.
I'm sure with your experience and expertise, you will be a good independent director, like a
I'm
very
just happy to be a director right now. Independent could be later. And somebody hires me then.
I'm sure that's going to happen soon for you,
Yeah.
Shweta.
Thank
And
you.
you've come across a lot of projects, right? You've done some, you probably have not done some. So how do you approach in selecting these projects to work on, right? And what criteria do you think you consider while deciding whether to take on these? For example, a new directorial opportunity is coming your way. So what would be your criteria to select or reject that project?
Right. So to answer that question, I have to give you a bit of a background. Uh, 25 years of marketing in retail, finance, lifestyle. And I know very sure the market I catered, serviced when I was, let's say, like a baby employee somewhere down to group head roles. Uh, it is an ongoing learning for sure. You start in designing, you dabble into sales and designing, then from sales designing, then you're getting into the marketing of those designs, then you get into general administration, then you kind of graduate to group level administration. That is the career so far. how do I pick? Post-COVID, when I started doing my own consultancy, I realized a lot of the companies, whether it's in retail or fashion or let's say consumer discretionary items, needed troubleshooting. They had to rehash the way they look at the world and look at the market. It was very, very interesting troubleshooting those. And at that point, I was really certified, but seems to be my core that invariably a lot of companies, business owners, friends of mine come to me for advisory, which is not holistic, which is only holistic, because it's not just an audit oversight, not just a governance oversight, it's not just a profitability oversight. It is more like, all right, you're a friend of mine, you have this brand and company, where all does it need to be fixed to take it to the next step? So if I hear a story like that, or if I hear a company which needs that kind of help, I'm usually in. Personal interests, besides troubleshooting, like I was kind of working back on my career where I've marketed clothes, shoes, bags, alcohol, real estate, down to fundraising. You pretty much touched a whole bit, and not just in India. I think my entirety of my career, 15 years, have been overseas, about 11 in US. I was about almost a year in Spain for a special project, spent a lot of time in Africa, have done projects in the Middle East. You get a very good sense of what the interesting projects, what they really need is. So if a company comes to tell me, Shweta, let's grow the market in Delhi, of course I can do it. But more interesting would be like, okay, Shweta, can we find new market in the overseas, UK being one part of it? I'd say, great, I've spent time there, I understand it. I know the, let's say, the business influencers, not the online influencers there, the decision makers. So that's one way of picking up. The second way of picking up, you pay me well, I'll come, no problem. I will do that work for you. So usually I try to balance my own profitability with my interests, and that's how I really pick. The one thing I have shied away from is troubleshooting in the realty field, because it is too heavy with regulations. And though I have realistic experience, I was group head with a large company in Bombay is one of my last portfolios before I went independent. It is too heavy with its regulations, and I think it's little. It hasn't, the pieces haven't fallen where they should when it comes to regulations, picking up the money, delivering new projects, fine tuning clientele safety even after RERA. So those are the few other things that I'm trying to stay away from. But others I'm quite interested about. Some passions, if you ask me, I'd love to dabble. I started my talk show, so a fair understanding of how media reacts, and I think content is king. So media houses would be great. That would be just my wish list.
That's a beautiful way of summing it up, Shweta. And I think if I have to put through, a single sentence, I would say you would like to take on challenges.
I just absolutely love it, which is paid for, obviously. I don't like a free challenge. That's all. That's a disclaimer.
Thank you. Thank you, Shweta. We're almost coming to the end of your center stage. So just would like to understand, what was and how was your journey of becoming an independent director, and how RSG was able to help you to get through that?
You see, this is an extremely important question. And after getting my certification, when I uploaded it in my social media, all my friends are calling, hey, tell us what's happening. What is this all about? I think it's absolutely crucial to have a guru when you're getting into something like that. I mean, you need a GPS to go somewhere. You'll need a guru of sorts, or some kind of formal training. There is a reason why this exam is exempt for CACS and existing directors, right? Because they come from that thread of thinking, they come from that knowledge base. For anybody outside of it, it is a bit of a hike if you really want to do a serious job of it, because the framework of understanding legal clauses in that English only took me like one revision. Honestly, ki bol kya rahe hain? And like if you're saying section 179, whereas disclaimer comes the answer after 3 pages, right? Even in the bare shell, not just the Company Act. So the institute, your Hamara, I'm an alumni now, helped me navigate that. That's number one, and helped me learn to read what I'm trying to read. It's a completely new course for a non-CS, non-legal person. That's one. Second, what really helped was the hands-on experience uh, of interacting. You got some stalwarts from the industry, so it was a completely new language which you were now beginning to understand because there's a handholder. So it's very important to do that. Never in my life have I picked up online cases just to read in time pass. You see, so you you kind of get colored about it, and that coloring is as important as following the syllabus. And as a marketing brand building person, believe me, it has been one of the best, I'm reiterating, decisions of my life, because it also helps me understand mitigation. How do you mitigate as from the governance viewpoint when you're just about driving marketing? If you see all some ad or some commercial goes into trouble for some brand or the other because somebody got offended, but it's a great thing to have as something which kind of fortifies you. So I'm very happy I did this with you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shweta, for your kind words. We now have rebranded ourselves from International Directors Institute to Boardshire. So basically helps two sides of the coin. One is the boards in bringing effectiveness, and the other are the leaders like you who want to be aspirants for an independent director, non-executive director, or a board of director role.
Correct. And there's something called non-executive, non-independent as well. I think I
Yes.
recently learned, which is an interesting
Non-executive.
one, which is like less liabilities but can advise. I think it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Thank you so
But
much, Rita. It was pleasure having you today. Thank you so much for sharing all your insights, experiences, and thoughts.
sure.
Um, Thanks everyone for watching the center stage interview of Shweta Satpathy. If you wish to understand more about her and her journey and Boardshire's journey, please visit our LinkedIn pages or visit boardshire.com. Thank you and have a wonderful time.
Thank you.